But there's companies that try to do sell something new versus trying to fix it. I call those the white collar companies.
Okay.
They're the ones that, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the technician shows up with that clean, crisp white shirt on. You just hired a white collar company. They're not going to fix it. They're just going to try to sell you a whole new system for a lot of money.
Y'all.
For a lot of money.
For $16,000 to $15,000. And we can do it for a fraction of that price.
Dang.
But some people love to spend $10,000 to $16,000. Go ahead, if you got it, you won't be eating no steak for a while.
and that's good. That's good if a customer does, but you got to make it look like a $10,000 install. You can't charge them the $15,000 and let's just wrap this with some duct tape to hold it in place here. Nope, that doesn't fly on that. Because HVAC, all your skilled trades right now, they're hurting bad. Like, I'm 43, I've got spinal stenosis with disc disease with 3 herniated discs and all kinds of arthritis stuff going on. And vertebrae fused together from when I fell off a ladder and broke my back, and it's like, it's a mess.
From doing HVAC.
Heavy physical work for my whole life.
I seen him chewing some pills down there in the shop the other day. He took the thing, started. I'm like, hey man.
That's like breakfast.
I'm like, you alright? I said, I seen this shit from the movies. You know, they pop the pills and they chew them. And they throw them back. He was like, yeah, I had to take like 7 of them just to get it to calm down. And I'm like, holy shit.
Because the last
that's a true story.
Oh my goodness.
The last I knew, I think circa 2017, 2018, the average age of the HVAC technician out there was 53. And so, they're getting up there and they're leaving, and the companies are hurting. Companies are hurting for people, but I also still look at the companies and go, it's your own fault. Because I graduated and did all my training complete about early 2000, 2001, and unless you had 10 years experience, nobody wanted to hire you. So there was almost an entire 15-year gap where somebody new couldn't get into the trade because you didn't have experience, because they got to be able to, here's your keys, here's your work order, go to work. Don't have to have a trade, go to work. That's a 15-year gap of bringing people into the trade. Now it's like, do you know what a screwdriver is?
Right.
Oh, heck yeah, let's go. Let's do this. You're hired. No, there's a lot of companies that they're now doing in-house training. And a lot of the big major companies, that's what they're doing to get the theory side.
Yep.
And then you go to work with the journeyman during the day, or do the furnace service to get your hands-on training type of deal.
Lennox, Goodman, and it's I think Train that do it. They train their own technicians in-house.
I almost had a job with one of the local parts houses, being because they're starting up localized training and stuff. And hey, any information on instructor? Yeah, here, let's get your info down. And they're ready to hire me for program director, but when you look at the pay and what they wanted me to do, it's like, nope. Okay, you're going to be tech support, you're going to answer technician phone calls, plus you got to build the curriculum, build your promotional flyers, set up the class schedules, do all this stuff. And I said, look, I want $53K. I'm not doing, that's what I want. Well, you made $40K at Vatterott, so $50K is very, very justifiable for you. Nope. You want me to pretty much do a $60K job for $50K type of thing. Because, anytime that employer starts throwing that, we wear many hats around here, unless you have ADD and can just run with that, pass on it.
This is not a restaurant.
Many hats. I told you I wear many hats.
Yeah.
Because you get in the HVAC, you got to learn electrical, you got to learn plumbing, you got to learn your airflow. Then once you do part of it, you can do commercial, residential, you can do boilers, chillers.
Dang.
There's just so much where it comes into, like, there's companies that do strictly geothermal, because I'd love to put in my house a geothermal system, but that's a lot of work to do. That's not a
It's pretty expensive too.
Yep.
Oh, very expensive.
Very expensive, because you have to have 100 feet of tubing in the ground for every ton of ton of cooling capacity, and You get out in the country, geothermal's popular there because you live on 4 acres or whatever. You have all that land to put the tubing in the ground, but you're going to have the highest efficient air heating and cooling appliance you can get. They cost you $30,000 nowadays, but
Your wife won't be cold.
So by the time you get done with that job, you'll be able to sleep on the floor because the floor will heat up, the floor will cool down.
That's like part of it. Like what we were talking with my YouTube channel, the home performance. I mean, you could put in variable stage equipment or 2-stage variable speed, all the fancy stuff. But you know, if the wind blows and the curtains are moving, it doesn't matter. And there's a lot of times I've been on calls where, well, this furnace my house stays cold with it running because your house is leaking. You need the new windows, you need new doors, you need to insulate, you need the air seal and
high ceilings.
like one job I had where I had my business. The guy was complaining he was burning through a 500-gallon tank of propane a week.
A week?
A week.
Yeah. That's that big propane tank that is set on the side of their house.
Yeah.
And it's huge, and you have to have a company to come out there to fill it. And he's running out of it as soon as they fill it.
Right now, a whole tank is $650.
Wow.
I know, because I just bought one.
And that should last you for a couple months, though. It's supposed to.
No, well, it's supposed to, but it's one of those like I looked at him. I'm like, okay, has anybody done a combustion analysis on your fuel burning equipment? Well,
The who and the what's?
I had a company come out and they looked at it and said it was fine. Okay, what was the numbers they told you? They said it was great. I need this bigger furnace installed so I can cut my gas usage down. It's like, no, it's not how it works. You can't go from this little furnace, double its size, and expect the gas usage to go in half.
Ain't how it works.
It doesn't work that way, you know.
Ain't how it works.
But that was one job where it was 11 o'clock in the afternoon. I was crawling through the attic to inspect the ductwork, and it was cool in the attic. If you get in your attic in the summertime at 11 o'clock and it's cool, you have leaking ductwork. There was just so many problems with the ductwork, and nope, I want you to I found this used furnace on Craigslist. I want you to put it in so it can fix all my problems. It's like I'm not going to double the size of your furnace, one of your furnaces, and especially with used equipment like that, because I come take a look and see, because there's other problems going on. You got ductwork leaking. Your ductwork isn't designed correctly. If you fix these issues here, all your problems go away. No, I still believe if I get that bigger furnace, my propane usage will go down. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I mean,
In a short cycle.
it's
Because it'll cool it down a lot faster, but then it'll boot right back up again. Because if you ain't fixed the problem or the solution, you're
Making it worse.
making it worse.
It's like everybody wanting those new programmable thermostats, thinking that that's going to solve their problems
It's
when
not.
their equipment's 20 years old.
Please. It's a joke.
I had worked on one of them nests the other day. I'm like, lady, you should have never bought this.
Right.
like the programables, if done right, you can get a little bit of savings with it. Like you're talking like maybe 10% a month. It's not drastic. I mean, if you're already paying in the summertime $500 a month for cooling, here's a fancy digital thermostat. It's not going to go down $200. No,
Y'all heard that. Stay away from them, y'all.
You know, there's a lot that, like I said, like
There's a lot to go into a programmable thermostat because you had to program it to what your house is doing. Some people don't know what their house is doing. They just program it, but they ain't, But then they going back to the thermostat and keep on turning it up and turning it down. Hey, you got a programmable thermostat. You're not supposed to be touching it at all.
because I pulled experiments on my own house with that, where you do that temperature setback, and you can go a good 4 hours before that furnace would kick on in the wintertime, which is great. That's what you want. But then too, if your house is super leaky, it's not going to do much. Because I think with our house right now, if we turn the furnace off, I think within an hour we could lose a degree easy.
30 minutes.
30 minutes will do it. because it's leaking.
It's been
That's it.
rolling the eye for me 30 minutes.
I have the videos on YouTube to show where some of the holes are and where the air is going. It's just a matter of fixing it. You know, it costs a lot to do some of it, but if you get it done correctly, like the reason I say correctly is the company I worked for got into the home performance, the insulation, energy audit stuff, and customer didn't want us for an insulation job because I think we were going to charge $1,800. This was many years ago.
Right,
so,
right.
You know, and he found a guy that'd do it for like $1,000 or like $900. And the boss sitting there like, look, I need you to see what this guy's doing. He's bidding by cutting everybody by half. I'm like, okay. Now I know what you want me to see what he's doing without being noticeable. Gotcha, no problem. Don't worry. This ain't first time doing it. Ain't gonna be the last time. So the guy went to insulate the attic because we were doing a duct cleaning, so we had to go all over the house. And I think he spent an hour and a half blowing insulation in the attic. And he'd go up the ladder, sit there with that hose, and did a circle and call it done. Because the company I work for, we'd actually build the insulation dam on the scuttle hole. We used the soffit vent extenders. We had the tape so you know if you paid for our whatever insulation value that needed to be 2 feet of insulation. You had the markers to prove we did the 2 feet, and it was clean, professional work. What that guy did, if you wanted 2 feet insulation above the living room, great, because that's where the attic hole was. But if you wanted that in the bedroom and they couldn't launch out that hose far enough,
It wasn't gonna get it.
wasn't going to get it. Oh well.
They get close to it, he'd be like, that's how it goes. It's a big old thing that they carry and it shoots out the insulation.
You know, it's
If you
like
can't reach it, that's it.
that's like I tried to tell students when I was teaching that green awareness class at Vatterott, like this goes like this. You spend money to condition that air. If the house leaks, you just wasted money.
Wow.
It's like mama telling you not to leave the door open because you're cool on the outside.
Exactly.
That's what it comes
Some
down
of the
to.
best advice in the world come from your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Close the door.
Please do.
You're letting hot air in.
So true. So Chad, tell us what you got going on in 2023.
Well, we're going to work on some home performance videos and try to do some more HVAC videos as I go around working on the house that we just bought, because
Congrats, guys.
it's been
Yeah,
it's kind of one of those.
He's got my Tyvek suit ordered. Lord help me.
'Cause, I mean, I've done the crawl space encapsulation and all that stuff.